Hello, good morning and welcome to the channel. It's fire lighting session. You've missed part of it, but it was still hot from last night, so put a couple of fire lighters in. Now so today I've got to finish off chopping the rest of that wood, and I've actually blocked off my wood store. I need to get the dry stuff out of there. So what I'm burning there is thin bits of something or other. I've got the door open to let the air go in. It was just about dying out and the air's feeding it like a funnel. So, So I think I've gone a bit too hard with the air. Right, so I think that's it going. So just a couple bits of tissue and a couple of fire lighters to get it going. So there's a lot of work in this, but it is lovely having a wood burner. I've also had the hassle, there's somebody complained, I know who it is, there's that as well. I think most people who have log burners have a difficulty because of the idiots in the council. But that's one of the reasons I've been filming it as well. I'm not exactly, it's really hard to explain, but the laws on it are a bit weird. Obviously it would not be appropriate to burn a car tyre on the fire, or you shouldn't burn paper on the fire, but you can burn paper on the fire to get it going. So a certain person that's doing it has been a problematic person from the start, with a variety of different issues. I think really what the reality is that they are, they're needing to move along, and that their time on earth has become performative, and in a spiritual sense they are not doing any good. I think that's the thing. What happens, some older people, when you're retired, so like me, I'm older, but I've got so much stuff to do. I never have a chance. I'm semi-retired, but I never have a chance to have time to annoy other people. I'm always busy and I'm doing stuff. But if you don't have enough interests and enough things to do, you're just going to get on other people's nerves, and you're going to be a blot in the community. So there's nothing wrong with my log burner. It's perfectly legal. It's the latest model. The reality is that whatever heat source you're going to use, you're going to get smoke somewhere. There's a process involved with staying warm, so there's going to be smoke, yeah. So really, I suppose that's what, playing devil's advocate, it would be the fuel, the fuel that's been burnt. So that's why I buy stuff from Shanflower Estates, what I've been burning since August. And I've still got some of it left, some of the biomass stuff. And I've got prepared some wood of my own that I collected probably in the spring. It's in the wood store, so we'll have to have a look at that. There's quite a lot of that's dry. I haven't gone as far as to getting a like a little thermometer thing that tells you how dry things are. Well, you split the wood, and it's supposed to be like 20 degrees, because there's always going to be moisture in wood, even stuff from the, from the estate, Chamfleur Estates. There's dampness on it. You're always going to get dampness on it, to a certain extent. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to keep on going. And so the dirty tricks department that's happening, it's causing hassle, yeah. So well done you for causing hassle, yeah. And you're also so he's been videoing my chimney. So I don't know about the data protection. I'm not sure about that. I'll look that up. Can you video somebody's house? Obviously, I do videos a lot, but I don't think I've ever specifically videoed somebody's house. Oh, that's why that woman went nuts at me up at Windsor Milton, wasn't it? Well, her house was being built at that time, so maybe she had a point. I don't know. I don't think so. I think you probably can video somebody's house. Yeah, that was why she went nuts. Stupid cow. But I think, well, does it make a difference if it's a building site? It's being built. And that was the situation then, that the house was being built. Can you video somebody's house? I don't actually know. I think a lot of these things are a bit grey, aren't they? They're a bit. I think. Well, look, there's a difference. Like so, when I was up at Windsor Milton, I walked past the house that was being built and videoed it. I didn't then go and send the video to the council, did I? Is that so? That's the difference. It's called data handling, isn't it? Well, I did put it on YouTube though, but then YouTube probably becomes the data handler. I'm not sure exactly how it works. Is there any data experts here? Can you video somebody else's house? Well, no. The first, see, that is a question that can you? Yes, you can. Can you then send it to the council, or upload it to YouTube or to the internet? That's really what I'm asking. Can you? So that's quite nice that now, isn't it? But I need to turn the. So there's there is a feature of me that automatically people it's a weird thing, it's a weird thing to explain. It's a weird thing to explain. Generally, everyday people, or a lot of people, just sort of treat you as they find you. Right, so they'll meet you and they just, like, I can do this. I mean, I obviously do this. I'll treat people equally, regardless of your skin colour or your sexual. What is that one? Sometimes you can tell if somebody's gay, but to me, that is the way you are. So I'm not going to not speak to you or something, or I'm not going to, I'm not going to treat you unfairly. But however, there are characteristics from specific cultures. I think that's a different thing. So when you're in business, you have to be aware of potential tricks that people might play on you, or manoeuvres. That's sort of different than being. So you can't behave really badly and then claim that somebody's a racist or something. But obviously, what we're talking about here is we're talking about the way people live. So we don't live in show houses. You know, if you do, you're sad, or you are actually in that game, and that's what you do, and that's okay. If you maybe buy a house, do it up, turn it into a show house, you're in it, and then you make a big profit and move along. I don't know about the capital gains tax and all that sort of thing. You need decent accountants for all that sort of thing. So most people live in houses and they do normal things. Now, I don't have children because all my children are grown up, so children would be a big problem for some people. Making a noise, jumping about, kicking balls, noisy, boisterous. Some of them don't behave perfectly well, all that sort of thing. So obviously that's not a problem for me because mine are all grown up, and they don't come and visit me anyway. So, the other thing is pets, dogs, cats. You know, some people don't like cats. Cats can go and fuck up gardens and, you know, mark out their territory, fight with other cats, all that sort of thing. So, what the hell am I rambling on about? So there is some people who, now I'm sort of thinking about my parents. My mother automatically decided that in her head that I was, well, I don't know, I wasn't in her head, but she would say things, she would be all right, and then the next minute she wouldn't. So, or you'd think I was getting on all right with her, and then she would, like, I wasn't welcome at their house, for example, for a number of years, for about 10 years. And that really was down to her. It wasn't my dad. So my dad had the awkward sort of situation where he had to handle because he was married to her, and he knew she was a nutter. He knew it. Well, obviously, who else is going to know it but him? And he had to live with her and maintain their marriage, and he did. And that's why a lot of the crazy shit happened. Was the crazy moves that they made over the years, which are very questionable now, were from her. And that's when he's went, yeah, okay, So that's what people do, like Protestants, but I mean Catholics as well. But a man will say no, and that'll be that, and that's the way it was. So all the loony stuff was my mother, and that was my dad just capitulating to her. So where am I going with this? Yeah, so there is people who just, I think the reality is there's people who just don't like other people, right? So there's people who don't like me, and yet equally there's people that do like me. So how do I know they don't like me? Well, because of their behaviour towards me. So what's happening in this scenario is this particular person, well, couple, have complained about fences, wheelie bins, log burners, storage of wood, storage of scrap metal, the garden, well, that sort of comes under that. And that's all within about a year or so. So that's what we're expecting. Well, no, 3 years. What I'm explaining is externalizing behaviour. Yeah, externalizing behaviour. So the behaviour's generally coming from the woman. The woman can't control herself. She's always. I think it's a complex thing, but they don't. There's obviously something missing with their lives that they need to look over the fence, so to speak. Because you've got to live and let it live. You have to let people do their own thing. So, like what I'm doing right now, what you're looking at, is perfectly legal, it's perfectly acceptable. And it's... So the reason that they don't like me is when they find out that I'm not actually a woman. I'm a biological male. who transitioned. I'm sort of speaking in their terminology. Well, I'm speaking in terminology that people. I mean, I am a woman and such. I've changed my paperwork and everything, but some people will not accept that. And legally, that's acceptable, but you know, the law is behind me, so to speak. But in saying that, they complained about other people as well. So I think there is just people who complain, and when you've got that extra, yeah, you know that thing where the guy got stopped in the car. Is it because I'm black? You know, and I think the reality is some people just constantly complain about everything. It's externalising behaviour is what it is. Unfortunately, it can cause. I think it'll have to come to a head at some point. You know, I think that behaviour. So basically, you could say you had like 5, 6, or 7 different neighbours over the years, and each and every one of them you gave them hassle. One day you're going to come up against one that it's going to bounce. It's going to burn your fingers. Your behaviour is going to, you know, say like your behaviour is going to cost you rather than the hassle of the target, the victims. The victims are the people that you're targeting. With your complaints, unreasonable complaints, and it's not. I doubt these things never really end very well. You know, some people die. You know, I mean, especially when you get into the elderly type. This is where we are here. It's elderly. We're in the you know, there's for the most part. I mean, my neighbours, the other ones have got children and that, and that's fine. They're great, but generally around about here, it's more of a elderly type. Well, because of well, you know, because of the nature of the buildings and that they're more for the elderly. So yeah, I think I'm oversharing a bit, but no, I think it's really bad karma, and I don't see any end to it. Well, I do, but somebody's going to end eventually. I think God is going to step in, and somebody's going to die, and you're going to, or you land up in a home or something, eh? And that's what happens. Well, it's universe. When I say God, I mean forces out with our control. You know, I mean you can mitigate your mortality. You know, you can go jogging or well, no, that in itself can cause you harm. You know, you could get run down by a truck, or it could be bad for your knees. You know, it could mess up your joints. So it's like at the end of the day, we are vulnerable, each and every one of us, to the universe because it takes us back. So what I suggest you do is behave while you're here. You know, be a decent person. It doesn't mean to say you have to go about. You know, you can just be decent and mind your own business, and be a good person. But what I'm witnessing is not a good person. It's not good at all. You're not a good Christian, and you're not a good Mason either. You know, you're failing to understand, and I'm not even in the Masons. You're failing to understand what the Masons is about and what I believe it's about. For one thing, you don't target vulnerable people, and that's what you're doing. And you're not supposed to be in it. Or, so the analogy here was the Christian, the church. You're not supposed to be in it for what you can get. You know, that's not what it's about. I remember I applied for a job about when I was at college. I was after a job when the college was coming to an end. That was 2018 or something. It was before the 2019, before the doodah. And I just wasn't really very well trained. And this is how you learn stuff, isn't it? So I phoned up. Oh, what you want the job for? Oh, because I'm needing something to do. Wrong answer. You're supposed to, you know, you're supposed to say something like, because I really want to help others, or I've really got, it's supposed to be about other people, what you can do for other people. So the job was it was like a caring type job, but it was more of a somebody disabled or something, take them out, somebody with autism or something like that. I forget, there's different terminologies with the care sector, the care industry. And But I mean, not long after that, ironically, they were screaming out for carers. I mean, about a year later. Well, they were at that time as well. But when the doodah happened, um, I've got to be careful what I say about that because I've already got into trouble from YouTube for talking about it. When the doodah happened in 2019, 2020, I did get a job as a carer somewhere else. But I mean, at the end of the day, they were desperate for people to do that job. Nobody wanted to do it. It's an insane job, the one that I was doing. I mean, why would you want to do something where you need your own car to do your job? It's like, yeah, I don't think that's a good idea. I mean, who would have thought that up? Like, alright, we'll get the workers to have their own cars and use their cars at work. Yeah, just not a good idea, is it? The care job, oh my god, yeah, I could go on about that for hours. Yeah, no. Too much risks. Risk of being, and getting into trouble were very high. People could say anything. You were on your own. You didn't see. They'd have to use cameras. They'd have to use cameras. That's what they'd have to do. So what am I yabbling on about? Well, so basically what I do is I do videos every day, and if the videos are not that exciting, I still do them anyway. So that the way I see it is, do the videos. You're sharing your life. When I went out last night to the pub, and I didn't do videos there, I decided that should be like going to church. You shouldn't video in a pub, and I have done in the past, so I'm not going to do it anymore. I don't think it's appropriate. I tend to think in terms of art, so I'm looking at people, looking at them like they're subjects that I want to paint or draw. That's kind of where it comes from. And I was doing that last night, and I thought, no, don't fucking take pictures of anybody. Stop it. You're in a pub. Enjoy yourself. You're not working. You're off. So, we did that. We had steak and ale pie and chips and 4 pints. I think we had. I feel fine today, so the beer must have been good. And it was like 4. It wasn't like any more than 4. I started to feel a bit roughy. So it was a good experience. So what am I yamming up? Well, yeah, so you've got to be a good person, and these people are not being good people. They're not being a good person or a couple. They're interfering with stuff, and they're getting obsessive about it as well. So once you get onto that thing, say like you start I've done this. See if you start complaining about somebody, you've got to keep it going. And then they start. You're watching them all the time. And I'm trying to think, when did that happen to me? It's being that thing what I said yesterday, overpowering mother and ineffective father in that scenario where some like a woman lets you and him fight. So the you become obsessive about it. I did that at college. Fell out with people and like complaining about them. Don't do it. You really have to. There's skills involved with it that you need to learn how to deal with people, how to deal with people that are causing a nuisance, and how can you get away from them? Can you go and work somewhere else? And that's what I did at college. But I mean, so I was taking it that really seriously, which is quite a good thing, I suppose. But and they were messing about. They were young women and all the rest of it, and they all ended up creating the same thing. The whole lot of them, well, not all of them, but most of them. So, God, it's getting really hot now, isn't it? Right, so that's a fire lighting session come to an end. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to get... Oh, aye. Oh, aye! One of these. Oh. So, we'll get one of these on shortly. The only thing about them is they seem to cause a lot of... I think they cause a lot of ash. I mean, I've got... it seems to be quite warm, as you can see. The heat is impressive. Right, so even the phone's heating up. Right, so thanks for watching this fire lighting session, even though you missed the first couple of minutes of it. I'll catch you in the next video. Bye! It's well and truly going, as you can see. Yeah. Well and truly hot. Yes. Oh, aye. Thanks for watching. Bye!